who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. Thus, until I achieve Buddha, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Now to the top of page 6 of the opening recitation text. Opening and dedication recitation text, page 6. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent, I take refuge until Bodhi is reached by the merit of generosity and other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all wandering beings in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent. I take refuge until Bodhi is reached by the merit of generosity and other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all wandering beings in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent. I take refuge until Bodhi is reached by the merit of generosity and other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all wandering beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. Vajra Samaja, Vajra Samaja, Vajra Samaja, protectors of all sentient beings, without exceptions, deities who vanquish the ruthless hordes of Maras, knowers of everything as it is, Bhagavans and your retinues, please come here. Agyam padyang pushve dupe aloke gende nevede shabda pratija soha. This ground sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with supreme mountain, four continents, sun and moon, I hold in mind as a Buddha land and offer it. May all wandering beings experience such a pure realm. Whatever slight virtue that may have been gathered through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and beseeching, I now dedicate to complete Bodhi. Now please turn to the general laying aside. And this is the purification practice, the general laying aside text. Alas, great Guru, Vajra holder, and all you Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who reside in the 10 directions and 3 times, I, who am called Gunja Yishidurje, supplicate you turn your awakened attention to me. From beginningless samsaric time until this time, very moment, under the power of the afflictive emotions, attachment, aggression, confusion, pride, and jealousy, I have committed the 10 non-virtuous actions through the gates of my body, speech, and mind. I have committed the 5 heinous crimes and the 5 secondary heinous crimes. I have transgressed the individual liberation vows, transgressed the precepts of bodhisattvas, and transgressed the samayas of the great vehicle secret mantra. I have been faithless and disrespectful towards the 3 jewels. I have been faithless and disrespectful towards my gurus and teachers. I have been faithless and disrespectful towards my father and mother. I have been faithless and disrespectful towards my companions in the pure spiritual life. I have abandoned the sublime Dharma and disparaged the noble Sangha. In short, I now lay aside all faults and transgressions whatsoever that have become obstacles to the higher realms and to liberation, and that have become the cause from samsara and lower realms. Before you, the great Guru, Vajra holder, and all you Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Of the 10 direction, and 3 times I expose the faults, I confess them, I am contrite, I regret them, I will not conceal them, I will not hide them, henceforth I will restrain myself and abstain from them. If I do not expose and lay them aside, they will not be transformed, therefore by revealing and laying them aside, May they be cleared, may I be purified. Namo to the mandala of you, victorious Idam deities. Om, I expose and confess the broken samayas of the Vajra exalted body. Ah, I expose and confess the broken samayas of the Padma exalted speech. Hong, I expose and confess the broken samayas of the perfect exalted mind. Hri, I expose and lay aside the broken root and branch samayas. I expose and lay aside transgressions committed knowingly. I expose and lay aside transgressions committed unknowingly, the 3 non-virtues of the body, the 4 non-virtues of speech, the 3 non-virtues of the mind, and confess each of the 10 non-virtues individually. With faultless disciplined conduct, possessing completely pure disciplined conduct, and through the disciplined conduct that is free of arrogance, may the paramita of disciplined conduct be perfected. To glorious Vajrasattva I pay homage. Vajra Sada Samaya Manupalaya Bazasato de Nopatita de Domeba Sudokaya Meba Subokaya Meba Nura Domeba Savasida Meba Jasavakama Sujam. Chidam Sreyanguru Hong Bhagavan Sabadagada Basama Mujabasabo Mahasamaya Sato Bazata Samaya Manapalaya Bazata de Nopatita de Nomeba Sudokama Subokaya. Anurado Memo was a wazir of Majas of Gamasu Jamajam Zeranguru Bhagavan Savadagada Basama Mujabasabo Mahasamaya Sato Bazata Samaya Manapalaya. Basarasato de Nopatita de Domimo Sudoga Memo Suboga Memo Nurato Memo Savasir Majas of Gamasu Jamajam Zeranguru Savadagada. Bazarama Memo Jabazabo Mahasamaya Sato Bazata Samaya Manapalaya Bazata de Nopatita. Anurado Memo was a was in a moment of some. Oh, Bhagavan Samadharagada Samaya. Manubalaya Bazaza de Nobadida de Memo was a Doga Memo was a Boga Memo, Nurato Memo was a Vasida Memo, Jasavakamasu Jamajam Zaranguru, Hao, Magaman Samadharagada Basama Memo Jabasabo Mahasamaya Sadawa. Umbazarasato Samaya Manubalaya Bazato de Nobadida de Memo was a Doga Memo was a Boga Memo, Nurato Memo was a Vasida Memo, Jasavakamasu Jami. Chidam Sreyanguru Hong Ha Bhagavan Samadhanagada Basama Mujabase Baba Mahasamaya Sato A Umbazarasato Samaya Manupalaya. Bazarasato Denobadida Didamibo Sudogaya Mibo Subogaya Mimo Nurato Mimo Savasede Mimo Jasavakamasu Jamajam Zanguru Hong Ha Bhagavan Savadagada Basama Mujabase Baba Mahasamaya Sato A Umbazarasato Samaya Manupalaya. Bajrasato de Nobadida de Domiba Sudogayam Meba Subogayam Mimo Nurato Mimo Savasede Mimo Jasavakamasu Jamajam Zanguru. Bhagavan Savatagada Basama Mujabase Baba Mahasamaya Sado Umbazrasato Samaya Manapalaya Bazato de Nobadida. Dito Meba Sudogayam Meba Subogayam Mimo Nurato Mimo Savasede Mimo Jasavakamasu Jamajam. Chidam Sreyanguru Hong Ha Bhagavan Savatagada Basama Mujabase Baba Mahasamaya Sado. From the Vajra Garland Tantra, it is said, the practitioner should sit on a comfortable cushion, directing the eyes to the tip of the nose, and placing the nose in line with the navel. The shoulders are level, The tongue is joined to the palate, and the teeth and lips are placed at ease. Having relaxed the exhalation and inhalation of breath little by little, free from effort, breath exhales and inhales just as it is. In this way, one is well seated in the posture of the Bodhisattvas. If we have gotten into the habit of closing our eyes while doing this, please note that especially for the later meditative exercises, it is not encouraged for your eyes to be closed all the way. Just for your gaze, for your look, to be lowered when necessary, and sometimes to be raised when necessary. But try to, bit by bit, slowly and slowly, get out of the habit of closing your eyes all the way. Then we should contemplate the difficulty of obtaining the freedoms and advantages which we have now obtained. We have all the freedoms and advantages of engaging in Dharma practice and even achieving Buddhahood in one single lifetime. Do not cast away this unique circumstance that will not come again so easily at all if we waste away this lifetime. Therefore also contemplate the truth of impermanence and death. Also understanding that impermanence and death are just the bigger manifestations of an underlying truth, of momentariness, of the lack of essence in any and all phenomena. That lack of essence is what we sometimes also call emptiness. But emptiness is not a mere absence. Emptiness is not nothingness. Emptiness is that nature of phenomena that makes it possible for karmic cause and effect to arise unerringly. And so next we also contemplate karmic cause and effect. Happiness and suffering are both within our own hands, within our own decisions to make. Making skillful karmic decisions of body, speech, and mind leads to happiness, both short-term and long-term happiness. Unskillful choices of body, speech, and mind leads to what we label as undesirable and suffering. Currently, most of our decisions tend in the direction of unskillfulness, tend in the direction of non-virtuous, and therefore the various forms, the various levels of samsara manifest, arise, all arising momentarily, moment after moment after moment, but nonetheless we experience them as stable. We experience the suffering as real and continuous. And therefore the faults of samsara needs to be seen clearly, without confusion. For if we don't see these faults, we will continue to believe in the stability of samsara, the desirability of samsara. And there was no end, there is no exit from samsara, from confused existence. So from the mother of the victorious ones, the Prajnaparamita Sutras, the Prajnaparamita Sutras are called the mother because that's where all the victorious ones, all the Buddhas arise from, the paramita of prajna, of perfection, of wisdom. So in the Prajnaparamita Sutras it says, friends, to become a human is rare. A perfect state of leisure is even rarer. Liberation from samsara is truly rare. Since it is so, do not waste your efforts, for later you will surely be filled with regret. When you do such contemplations, anchor these contemplations on breath going in and out, switching as necessary from focusing mostly on any of these contemplations and to the experience of breath coming in, going out as necessary. For cultivating the ability to relax both body and mind is essential for the later meditative exercises. As in this path, in this Mahamudra path, the ability to skillfully relax both body and mind are considered a key to this path. Not too tight, not too loose. Not too tight, not too loose. And this was the lesson that Siddhartha had to hear at the right moment, when after practicing austerities, controlling breath, controlling food, controlling every aspect, down to eating only 1 grain of rice a day, emaciated almost on the brink of death, although his mind was very focused, very tight, hoping that in that discipline of both body and mind he can break through to enlightenment, break through to Buddhahood. As it turns out, that wasn't the way. And in the right moment, he heard a music teacher teaching a student a string instrument, telling the student how to tune the string instrument. That the string instrument cannot be strung too tight or too loose. When it's too tight or too loose, no music can be made. It has to be tuned, it has to be strung and tuned so that it is just right. Body and mind needs to be just right. Relaxed, but present. Present, but relaxed. Presence cannot be too tight. Relaxation cannot be too loose. So inhale, exhale. Consider the great fortune of being born a human being with all the endowments and leisure. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Consider impermanence, instability, change, and death. Inhale. Exhale. Appreciate that karmic causality operates without mistakes, without faults. If you need something to trust in the unerring workings of cause and effect. Gaining trust and conviction on the inevitability of karmic cause and effect, we can view the faults of samsara more skillfully, without fear, without judgment. See the faults as simply faults. Not your faults, not someone else's faults. Don't need to assign personalities to these faults. Simply faults to be dropped. Simply faults to become free from. Whether it's you, whether it's others. Simply seeing the faults and laying them aside. Again, laying them aside, again laying them aside. Inhale, exhale, all at your own pace. The practice of the Fivefold Path properly begins with the first fold, which is the cultivating of bodhicitta, here called the special preliminary. Cultivating bodhicitta involves 3 sections. First, cultivating loving kindness, then cultivating compassion, and then cultivating bodhicitta. As our precious Lord Kyopa Jigten Sumgun taught, if the steed of love and compassion does not run for the benefit of others, then it will not be rewarded by gods and humans. Attend earnestly, therefore, to this foundational attitude. So first cultivate love or loving kindness. In cultivating loving kindness first, the essence of loving kindness needs to be identified. The cause of loving kindness are to remember those who have been kind to us, recognizing those who have been kind to us, bringing them to mind. The essence of loving kindness can be found when we think of a child that we are fond of, when we think of that child playing, or when we remember witnessing them playing happily, and the feeling that arises when we see a child or a small animal, a pet, playing happily. Then whoever is the cause, is the object that we feel gratitude towards, bring that person to mind. Bring them into your presence here in this meditation. Feel that they are present. And feel their kindness. Remembering their kindness to you, even if it is just one act of kindness that is memorable, then feel their loving kindness radiating towards you, which ignites your innate loving kindness to radiate out towards them. And from them, we are to extend this radiating of loving kindness powerfully and strongly, first to the direction in front of us, then in the right direction, in the direction of the back of our body, and to the left. As radiance go out, to all without exception, collapsing the walls between self and other, powerfully radiating. By extending this radiance in all directions, loving kindness becomes a true protection, that which can quell all unfavorable conditions and obstacles that may otherwise arise. So that even after we attain Buddhahood, this function of metta, of loving kindness, continue to assist us in the work of benefiting all beings. Suffused with this power of metta, of loving kindness, of well-being, of happiness, a well-being and happiness that is not tied to notions of self and other, notions of I have enough, I don't have enough, but simply pure metta radiating. Then we can cultivate that second aspect of this bodhicitta, which is compassion. Now you think of someone, particularly someone difficult. Someone whom you feel have caused you difficulties, have caused you harm. Bring them into your presence. With metta still radiating, now we think, how pitiable are all mother sentient beings. How pitiable, especially this one who harms me. How pitiable this one who harms me. Think about the suffering that they must be in. That even towards their child, towards you, this mother sentient being who had been your mother in some lifetime, in the past, perhaps even in this lifetime, this sentient being must be in such a difficult place, such a dark place, that without choice their actions are manifesting as harm, even as they are looking for happiness. They habitually go back to actions that are unskillful, actions that are productive of dukkha, of suffering, and therefore cause suffering to both self and other. How pitiable this one that is harming me. How pitiable this one that is harming me. See the suffering that they are in. See the suffering that they will go deeper into in the future. And also recognizing that they have no other refuge but you. Right now, you are the only one who can pull them out of this dark place. And so we want them to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. We wish them freedom from suffering and the causes of suffering. How pitiable this one who is harming me. How pitiable this one who is harming me. May they be free from suffering and harm. May they be free from the causes of suffering and harm. Again, the experience of breath is that neutral place you can go to, and the place to bring attention, sharpen attention and presence. So don't forget, even as you're doing these contemplations, you can rely on the turning your attention to breath, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. How pitiable this one who harms me. How pitiable this one who harms me. And from here, extending this to all beings everywhere. So we begin first, actually, in a way, the opposite of how we begin when we're cultivating metta. When we're cultivating metta, we think of those whom we naturally have a fondness for, whom we feel gratitude towards, and from there expand out to dismantle the walls that separate between those we like and those we don't like. In cultivating karuna or compassion, we begin from the opposite direction, bringing to mind first those who cause us harm, those who are causing great harm in the world today. We bring them to mind first. How pitiable this one who is harming me. How pitiable this one who is harming all. How pitiable this one who is harming themselves. And seeing the state of suffering that they are in and therefore causing so much suffering for others, or at the very least causing suffering for you. We wish them freedom from suffering, freedom from the causes of suffering. How pitiable this one who is harming me. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be free from harm and the causes of harm. And from there you expand this out to those who are causing harm further away from you, but nonetheless causing harm to themselves, to others. May you be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How pitiable you who are harming me, you who are harming sentient beings. Then extending out until it reaches all beings, until the walls that separate between those that we like and those that we don't like are brought down. It says here in the instruction, cultivate this until tears stream down, your hair stands on end, and your mind is overcome with the thought, how pitiable are these mothers sinking in the ocean of samsara. Though they desire happiness, they engage in the causes of suffering and experience its results. They are ignorant of the methods for abandoning causes of suffering. They are not being cared for currently by sublime spiritual guides, and therefore, like blind people, they are without a guide, lost in this darkness, lost in this confusion. Now may they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May those who harm be free from harm and the causes of harm. Inhale, exhale. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our daily practice of this Mahamudra manual from the 14th century by the 11th throne holder of the Dugung Kagyu lineage, Chenga Chuki Gyalpo. So last time when we met, we were getting to this next part of the first of the fivefold, the first fold, which is the bodhicitta Mahamudra. So here, on the basis of love and compassion, seeing and considering the power, the force of loving kindness and of compassion as the force that is moving us along. So now moving us towards what? And so I've said elsewhere, sometimes even love and compassion could move us in the wrong direction. In fact, if you think of all the people, all the situations where a lot of harm, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering is being caused, in some ways they are caused by biased love and compassion. It's quite normal. I would be lying if I say I don't more kind of automatically have more love and compassion for those whom I care for, whom are close to me, who makes me feel good about me, who makes me feel good about them, that I quite easily, quite naturally, I have love for them. I have compassion for them. And with compassion, it's very easy to have compassion for those whom we perceive clearly to be suffering, to be victims of harm. But very hard to have love, to have compassion towards those who are causing suffering. But we have to train this love and compassion so that they are going in the right direction. And then going in the right direction also needs to go far enough. So going in the right direction may just be going in the direction of may they have happiness, may they be free from suffering for now. Not thorough enough, not far enough. Bodhicitta is providing both the right direction and the furthest it should go, it can go, which is all the way to the state of Buddhahood. To, you could say, maximum good, complete and thorough good. So bodhicitta is also providing the means, the method of going there. So here on page 20, the section of bodhicitta, it says third, bodhicitta has two parts: aspiration bodhicitta and action bodhicitta. First, for aspiration bodhicitta, generate the following thought: I will overcome the mandala of the dark forces of maras. And so here you see, even though mandala we normally use to describe to the gathering, the grouping, the coming together of objects of refuge, of deities. Mandala actually can also be used in this way. The mandala of the dark forces of mantras, the gatherings of maras, and the opposing forces, meaning the forces who oppose good, the forces who oppose happiness, and specifically here, the forces, the enemies who hate me and all of us, the obstructors who harm us, and those who create obstacles to accomplishing the wisdom of liberation and all-knowingness. For the sake of all mother sentient beings as vast as space, I will liberate those not liberated from the ocean of samsaric suffering. I will free those not freed from the bondage of afflictive emotions. I will give relief to those who have not found relief from the vehicles of the Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas. And I will lead to the complete nirvana of the Mahayana those who have not passed beyond sorrow. So this is the Bodhisattva vow. Liberate those who are not liberated yet from the ocean of suffering. Free those who are bound still by the kleshas. And then even relieving those who are on the Shravaka and Pratyeka Buddha path. Here, those on the Shrava, the fault you could say, or the downside of taking the path of the hearers, the Shravakas and the Pratyeka Buddhas, the solitary realizers, is that the relief that they are seeking is only limited to the individual. And as long as even something as subtle as not even selfishness, but focus only on one's own self. As long as even this very tiny fault, because in a way, without this focus on the self, you may not have started the path. But even this reason that brought you to the path needs to be cleared, so that you don't get stuck in the result of the hearers, in the result of the solitary realizers. And so then the aspiration bodhisattva, bodhicitta vow, has to include freeing those from very, very subtle obstacles. And finally, to lead to complete nirvana, all those who have not yet reached that. So quoting from the Bodhicayavatara, the moment that bodhicitta has been generated, those who were weary, bound in samsara's prison, are called the children of the victorious ones and become worthy of homage by the world with its gods and humans. So the moment you give rise to this bodhicitta, you have become a child of the Buddhas, a child of the victorious ones. Even the gods and the humans of the world will now admire you, pay homage to you. This is not, of course, encouraging us to be arrogant, going around thinking and feeling that everyone should pay homage to us. And this is an antidote to those of us who are more prone, feeling more prone to feeling bad for ourselves, who are more prone to self-pity. Again, these things don't make you a bad person, but these things are obstacles. It just ruins your day. But if you remember, I've taken the bodhisattva vow, I've now entered the ranks. I've joined the Buddha family. And even the gods and humans who on that day witnessed this, they paid homage to me. Now, there's no reason to wallow in the mud. And from the sutra requested by Maitreya, if a bodhisattva possesses one quality, they will abandon all lower realms, will not fall into the hands of evil companions, and will swiftly and perfectly awaken to unexcelled complete awakening. What is that one quality? It is bodhicitta, the perfectly sublime superior intention. Again and again, refine, polish this intention to achieve Buddhahood for the sake of all mother sentient beings. And so this vow is actually the practical, the immediate practical side of this vow is a vow, a commitment to achieving Buddhahood ourselves. So it's a slightly, you could say, wrong understanding. If you think Bodhisattva vow is making the vow to delay Buddhahood for the sake of others. You're not delaying Buddhahood. Where it feels like you may be saying you are willing to delay, it is exactly that if in some strange situation, delaying your enlightenment can further the exit from suffering of others, you are saying, if such a situation ever arises, I am willing to do it. But it is not the Bodhisattva vow. If you have the attitude, no, others should go first, others should go first, others should go first, I will just hang out in confusion over here. Then you don't understand what is confusion, what is awakening. So instead, we should apply ourselves with great intensity. I shall attain Buddhahood. And how do you attain Buddhahood? Well, you have to clear your kleshas. You have to put effort into clearing your kleshas now. Your own kleshas. Bodhisattva vow is not running around clearing other people's kleshas. Clean your own house first. Clean up your own act. It's so exciting and easy, to kind of go in the direction of, let me go clean up other people's mess. And then ourselves a complete mess. Then, on the bottom of page 22, then generating action bodhicitta is also extremely important. So therefore, the Bodhicayavatara Shantideva says, from aspiration bodhicitta, although great results arise while in samsara, so it is said that, if you have aspiration bodhicitta, even when you are asleep, those hours that you are asleep, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours that you are asleep, if you truly have aspiration bodhicitta, merit multiplies even when you are doing something neutral like being asleep. Normally it's said that merit would only accumulate if you are doing something positive. And one form of doing something positive is to avoid the negative. So actually, avoidance of doing that which is negative is a form of positive. And then, of course, there are the positive or the virtuous acts. But normally, we don't think of the neutral being productive of merit. But here, the neutral state of being asleep, or even like you could say, passed out, lost consciousness. If aspiration bodhicitta is present, merit continues to arise. But here it says, and so it's within this understanding that here it says, from aspiration bodhicitta, although great results arise while in samsara, It is not like the mind of action bodhicitta, from which merit arises in the continuous stream. Even more powerful is the commitment to acting like a bodhisattva. The first commitment, aspiration, bodhicitta, is the commitment to become Buddha. Second is the commitment to acting body, speech, and mind as a Buddha. Therefore, one should think, until I reach the heart of awakening, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue for as long as I live, from now until this time tomorrow. I will take into my own experience this Mahayana profound path of the union of the creation and completion stages. Here in this text, it ties this bodhicitta, the action bodhicitta vow, the aspiration, the action bodhicitta commitment to the action of cultivating creation and completion stages, which is what comes in the next three of the fivefold. The idam fold, the guru devotion fold, belong to creation stage. The natural Mahamudra, the fourth of the fivefold, is the completion stage. Yeah, so the action we are committing to engaging in are the next threefold. So this action bodhicitta vow here is even more specific, tailored towards this manual. Of course, action bodhicitta commitment, it's more general. The more general one is the one that we do all the time. Thus, until I achieve the state of Buddha, until I achieve Buddha, I will engage in virtuous deeds of body, speech, and mind. Until death, I will engage in virtuous deeds of body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I will engage in virtuous deeds of body, speech, and mind. I will bind myself to the virtues of body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, from now until death, from now until complete Buddhahood is reached. That's the more general action bodhicitta commitment. In both cases, I mean, not to be so technical, but just to point out, in both cases, aspiration and action bodhicitta here, it's about developing the commitment. Although it says action bodhicitta, right? Again, not to get too technical, but just to point out, it's not yet the actual doing. The actual doing comes next. Here it's strengthening the commitment to do, strengthening the commitment to arrive. If you think about it, using examples given by Shantideva as well, he says that wanting to go somewhere and committing to going there, committing to doing what it takes to get there. This is action, this is aspiration and action bodhicitta. Sometimes in other explanation, to further illuminate, they say one is a commitment to the result, the other is a commitment to the cause. So again, cause and result, causality. Aspiration bodhicitta is a commitment to achieving the result. Action bodhicitta vow is a commitment to engaging in the causes. So, because bodhicitta Again, not to get too technical, but sometimes it's necessary for our general education. Chitta means mind. So bodhi, mind. There is bodhicharya, which is bodhi, conduct. So the vow of bodhicitta is a vow of the heart, of the mind. Bodhicitta, bodhicharya is bodhi, conduct, bodhi, activity. So with both the action aspect, the aspiration aspect of bodhicitta and the action aspect of bodhicitta, in other words, by both committing to going to the state of Buddhahood and taking all beings with us there, and committing to doing whatever it takes, all that it is necessary. In this way, we have bodhicitta. And the benefit is described in the Bodhicharyavatara from that moment on, when these two, even when one is asleep or becomes heedless, a great force of merit, an uninterrupted stream, equal to space, will continuously arise. Now, here I'm not sure, like in the original text, whether this is said to be the case when both bodhicitta are there. What I do remember, which I explained earlier, is that it's saying, even just with aspiration, this is the case. But it's good to think, when these two, aspiration and action bodhicitta, are present, then an uninterrupted stream equal to space of merit will continuously arise. Here it says, not just that when you're asleep, but even when you become heedless. Now on the verge of you being in an unskillful state, when heedless meaning when you lose your focus, it says even when you lose your focus, which is a fault of sorts, it says this bodhicitta is not harmed, not destroyed. Thus it is crucial, on page 24, to focus on these three: loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and their benefits are immeasurable. Glorious Mahamudra, Kyopa Rinpoche's main teacher, said, with the river of loving kindness not being cut, and not being cut meaning, like if you think about rivers, cut means, right, rerouted somewhere else, and the root of compassion being well moistened, the tree of bodhicitta having extensively grown, may the flower of the 10 bhumis emerge, and cause the fruit of the two benefits to ripen. Two benefits is benefiting self, benefiting others. So here beautifully, the three parts, three aspects of bodhicitta, with the river of loving kindness continuing to flow, so that the root of compassion is nourished, is well moistened, then the tree of bodhicitta will keep growing, flowering into the results of the 10 bhumis, the 10 stages of bodhisattvas, which will finally give fruit to the benefit of self and the benefit of others. True benefit will arise. So this is the bodhicitta. Soon we will begin, creation stage. That I may do some side explanation before we start with the text. Also, it's good, for us to further refresh the preliminaries that have come before. So remember, there is what in this text is called the common preliminaries is the practice of Ajasattva and the practice of mandala offering. That we should do more and more. Short sessions is good, Practically, I think if you can, beyond class time, even just a short session of Vajrasattva, on some days, short session of mandala offering, then short sessions of cultivating bodhicitta, one part of it, or all parts, all three parts of it. Try to pepper your day, your evenings. Do short. No need to do long. The thing about doing long, I think some of us is like, sometimes when we do try to do a long one, then we get so exhausted. Then the next time we want to do, we hesitate a little. Then also very practically speaking, especially if your life is such that you're living with others, others want you to be around them. Others want you to be doing things with them. And let's be realistic, you also don't want to have your Dharma practice become too much a burden on them. Of course, eventually, if you do it right, others around you would not mind, would appreciate also that you're spending more time with the Dharma. If it is done right, I believe that to be the case. Because the thing is that, especially when we're still beginning, sometimes our enthusiasm, if it goes in that direction, may be coming from the wrong place, that we want to make a show to others around us, how important this practice is, so I cannot do things with you. Then you create, kind of misunderstanding and resentment. That's not carrying out our bodhicitta. But it also will not work, I think, if we are not practicing right and then using that as an excuse for not doing much in the realm of practice. Oh, this is all I can do. The teacher said, like I should be with my family, I should be with my friends, I should be hanging out in samsara as usual, Then it's like samsara usual as business. No, that's certainly not what the teacher is saying. But I am saying, when done right, these are all causes of happiness that we're learning. These are all causes of suffering that we're abandoning. And it should not cause chaos into your life, into the lives of people around you. Although that's a fashionable idea. That's kind of exciting, especially those of us who love reading about the Mahasiddhas. None of us can hack it, I tell you, the style of the Mahasiddhas. These are people who don't mind, being maligned, being misunderstood. Really don't mind, not like grudgingly don't mind. But that's not our reality, yeah? And again, a reminder, if you have not yet received in person the Chakra Samvara empowerment especially, then it's really good. It will be important if you go to the video link that we have shared of Gajen Rinpoche giving the Chakra Samvara empowerment and participate as much as you can. You may not get all out of it, but at least, if you sincerely participate in that, after that you come out the other side going, I have done it. And that is a satisfaction of the types that is fulfilling a requirement of sorts. Is it fulfilling all the requirements? Hard to say. Even if you are there in person, have you fulfilled all the requirements? Really hard to say. Really hard to say. But the very least you want to be able to say is, I have fulfilled it to the best I can, given my ability to understand, given where I am right now. And so that is good enough as a foundation for experiencing, for practicing, for taking into experience the next big section of this manual. Okay? So please try to do that as soon as you can. So now let's do a brief dedication at the end. On page 31 of the opening and dedication text, page 31. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain the unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Bodhi. By the blessings of the truth of the Kagyu Gurus, the excellent 3, Idams, Dakinis, and Dharmapalas, may the spiritual and temporal places of the tradition of the second Nagarjuna flourish. Whatever harmful, discordant faults may arise, may they be pacified, and may there be abundant prosperity and happiness. May the teachings of the great Drigung Paranashri, the all-knowing Dharma Lord, Master of interdependence, continue to increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara by the power of the virtues collected in accordance with the teachings of the pure realizations of the unmistaken teacher. May the teachings of Ratnashri of Drigung, the protector on the 10th Bhumi, flourish perpetually. Also here I want to take the opportunity, I'll repeat this quite a few times. So I think many of you know, we are building a forest hermitage for long-term residents on the one hand. Then on the basis of having a group, a group means 3, 4, 5 even, a group of long-term residents at the hermitage. On that basis of them being there to anchor the place, then we invite everyone to come for short-term experience of living in the forest. Living and practicing Dharma, and particularly practicing Dharma in this way. So then now, if you are there, if you come, it's not just an hour and a half to 2 in the morning, but more time throughout the day and practicing like this, with a text like this. So we're the very first building the Dharma Hall. We hope it will be complete and ready. And we are now setting some dates. And so July 16, 17, 18, 19 will be the 4 days of the opening. 16, 17, 18 will be the 1,000 offerings of Namgyalma, Ushnisha Vijaya for 3 days. Then 19th will be the opening, the consecration of the place. So please mark your calendars. It'll be wonderful for all of you to come join us. July 2026, 16, 17, 18. 18th is the birthday of His Holiness the Drigung Gyabgun, who is now in retreat. That's on the 18th. And so there will be the final day of the 1,000 offerings of Ushnisha Vijaya. And then 19th will be the consecration. At the consecration, we are hoping that Khenchen Koncho Gyaltsen Rinpoche will give the extensive bodhicitta vow according to Drigung tradition. That will be it will probably start on the afternoon of the 18th, and then the second part will be on the day of the 19th. So I hesitated, giving specific dates to this consecration, but now I feel if I don't set the date, then things will not fall in place. So I will set it here with you as witnesses. Okay, bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
Gracias, Dr. Lee.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Lai.
Gracias.
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 Thank you. Good night.
Muchas
Thank you, Dr.
gracias.
Lai.
Thank you.